If you're wondering how to manage your money or how to get started with investing or even how to prepare for retirement and you just don't know where to start, then this video is for you. I'm gonna give you an overview into the world of personal finances and how you can get started with your journey to financial independence coming up. Welcome to the Journey of Finance, helping you achieve financial independence. My name is Cedric, and here on this channel, we talk about how you can manage your money and invest your way to retirement. I upload new videos on this channel every week to help you level up on your finances. So, if you're down to go on this journey, then do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you're notified of every new video and smash that like button down below. It's absolutely free to do, and it lets me know that you're enjoying the content and lets YouTube know to push this video in front of more people. Now, it comes to no shock to me that only 30% of US households have a long-term financial plan and that 42.3% of Americans have less than $10,000 saved for retirement. With these statistics, it should be alarming that most Americans have grown comfortable with living paycheck to paycheck without any idea how they're going to build a nest egg that will sustain them throughout retirement. The fact that you clicked on this video says that you don't want to be part of that majority, but that you want to have a financial plan and take actionable steps to be financially independent. And for that, good job. Now, who is this video for? Maybe you're someone fresh out of college and just starting out and you're not sure how to set up your personal finances. Or perhaps you're in your 50s and realize that you never really focused on getting your finances in order. Or maybe you're a little more experienced in managing your finances, but you need another strategic idea to beef up your finances. No matter what your situation is, this video could be of value to you. I'm going to break down in the most simplest way possible the world of personal finances so that you can be on your way to leveling up your money and have a strong starting point to creating a bulletproof plan for your future. I'm gonna break down this guide into 3 simple phases. Phase 1, managing your income. This is where you'll gain control of managing what goes in and what goes out. Phase 2, tackling your debt. This is where you're gonna take inventory of all the debt that you owe with the exception of your mortgage and you ferociously tackle all of it. And phase 3, invest the rest. Once you accomplish steps 1 and 2, you'll be able to focus your attention on growing your wealth through investment strategies of your choosing. Phase 1, managing your income. Does this sound familiar? You go to work every day to earn a decent living. You get a paycheck every 2 weeks directly deposited into your account, which gives you enough fuel to last the next 2 weeks. You go grocery shopping for the week, swiping your debit card to pay for your food. Your mortgage, auto loan, and Netflix payments are automatically drafted out of your checking account, giving you the peace of mind knowing you won't forget to pay those bills. Technology for the win, right? You go for your daily coffee run before work and party hard over the weekend. Next thing you know, you're left with about $50 to last you a few more days until you get your next paycheck. This story is all too familiar. The problem with this scenario isn't about the fact that you have a mortgage payment, a car payment, or even that you go for a daily coffee run. The issue is the lack of personal finance management. Enter everyone's favorite B word, the budget. Your budget is going to be the most powerful tool in helping you get a bird's eye view of your finances and keep you on track to reach your goals. The budget can take many different shapes and forms, from spreadsheets to budgeting phone apps to the tried and true pen and paper. No matter the method, you need to have a way to track your expenses. Here's what I like to do to set up a simple monthly budget. I prefer to use all the income that I made from the previous month to be all of the income that I use for the current month, so I know exactly how much income I have to work with. For example, let's say I made $5,000 from all of my income sources for the month of May, and this includes my salary, side hustles, etc. I'll only use this amount for my June budget, and you'll see why. So on a sheet of paper or your spreadsheet, write down all of your expenses in a column. This will include your rent or mortgage, car payment, health insurance, phone bill, groceries, so on and so forth. The idea is to list every single expense that you can account for. The more details, the better, so there are no surprises. Add up all of your foreseeable expenses, and for this simple example, the total is $2,600. Subtract your expenses from your income and you have the remaining balance, which is what is left over. In this example, you have $2,400 left over for the rest of the month. Now, depending on how detailed you make your budget, you will have accounted for most of the expenses for the rest of the month. Now you have $2,400 left over to put into savings, invest, or make extra payments towards your debt. Setting up a budget will give you an honest view of your financial situation, and it will also help you keep you accountable to how you're spending your money every month. If you want to know more about how to budget like a boss, then make sure you watch this video right here. Now, if you're looking at this example level and you're like, Said, you're crazy. I barely have enough money to pay all my bills. Then this next tip might be for you. Cut unnecessary expenses. Now that you have your budget in place and you're able to take a look at all of your expenses, ask yourself, where can I cut some expenses? Your goal should be to limit the amount of money that goes towards your expenses so that more of it goes to you. Now this will vary from person to person and your money philosophy. Some people, out of necessity or pure preference, aims to live as frugal as possible, cutting out every little expense that they can live without. Others might find it more helpful to eliminate some of the things that they never use, like certain app store subscriptions. But they can still afford to feed their daily Starbucks addiction because it gives them ultimate joy. Look, I'm not here to judge. Every situation is different. But I do recommend that you find ways to cut back on expenses, especially if you want to have a better use of your finances. Do you really need that subscription to Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, and YouTube Premium? Can you meal prep to get a better bang for your buck instead of eating out 5 times a week? Emergency fund. Once you have optimized your budget and cut down on expenses, now it's time to create your emergency fund. This is an account set aside with money to cover any unexpected emergency expenses that might come up, whether it be repairing a washing machine that broke down or that unforeseen trip to the hospital. This account is purely for you to have access to if things go wrong, so you don't have to interrupt your monthly budget or be tempted to use a credit card. I, along with many others out there, recommend starting with having at least $1,000 set aside for this. If you can swing $1,500 or $2,000, even better. Look at this as your own personal insurance. Eventually, you're gonna wanna have at least 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up in your emergency fund to be there to get you through potential hard times such as a job layoff. But you can save this step for later if you like. Increase your income. Another important aspect of managing your income is to find ways to increase your income. If you look at many of the world's wealthiest people, you'll notice one common thing. They all have multiple streams of income. Sure, they may have started out with one, but they know that in order to minimize the risks of putting all of their eggs in one basket, having multiple streams is safer and of course brings in more money. So how can you increase your income? I'm sure there are many different ways to do this, but here are a few ideas for starters. If you're working a traditional 9-to-5 job, is there room for you to negotiate a raise? How about shooting for a promotion? If you're in a sales position where you earn commissions, how can you make more sales to increase your revenue? Consider picking up a part-time job. If you're working a 9-to-5 on the weekdays, consider working part-time on the weekends, perhaps waiting tables. It may seem like a lot, but if you have big financial goals, making an extra $300 a weekend doesn't seem so bad. That's an extra $15,000 a year, which can go a long way in getting out of debt or investing for the future. There are tons of different ways to increase your income, and I made a video on 14 side hustles that you can do to give you more ideas on how to increase your own income. So be sure to check that out. Phase 2, tackle your debt. Consumer debt in the US has become an accepted part of life. As of November 2020, consumer debt has surpassed $14 trillion with an average personal debt of $92,000 for each American. This consumer debt includes credit card debt, personal loans, auto loans, student loans, and home equity lines of credit. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone on why or how they got into debt. From this point forward, the most important thing is to take an honest look at the consumer debt that you have, not including your mortgage, and figure out a game plan to eliminate it. Now, I know it's easy to just avoid staring into the face of debt head on. We say things like, if I just make the minimum payments, then I'm okay. But this sort of thinking is the silent killer of your financial future, because there's an opportunity cost of owing money to someone else that you could otherwise pay yourself in the form of investments. Let's put it like this: investing is like paying yourself. Your interest that you make on your money comes in the form of capital gains or dividends. But being in debt is paying someone else plus interest, making someone else rich and robbing yourself of the opportunity to grow your own wealth. So how do you begin to tackle your debt? There are several different ways to go about this, but no matter which method you choose, the important thing is to start. Here are 2 methods you can choose from that will help you practically tackle your debt. One method you can use that makes the most psychological sense is the snowball method. List out all of your debts in order, with the smallest balance first and the largest balance last. With the extra money that you have left over in your budget from phase 1, apply that towards your debt, paying off the smallest debt balance first, and then work your way to the largest. You'll begin to notice that your smaller debts will get paid off sooner, allowing you to pay off the bigger balances soon after. This creates a snowball effect because after paying off the smaller debt first, you gain momentum and it grows. You also have the psychological win of seeing each of your debt paid off sooner. Another method that you can use that makes the most financial sense is called the avalanche method, which is where you can list out all of your debts in order with the highest interest rate debt first. Your payment strategy is similar to the previous method in that you'll take the extra money that you have left over in your budget and apply it to paying down the debt with the highest interest rate first. This will save you the most money in the long run since high interest rates on consumer debt take so much out of your pocket. Here's a power tip. For paying down loans such as student loans or auto loans where the repayment plan is already mapped out over a period of 3, 5, or 10 years, you'll need to make sure that you intentionally pay down the principal balance, which is the original loan balance, and it doesn't include the interest. For example, if you have a 36-month auto loan where your payment is spread out over those 36 months, then all of your interest is already built into every payment. Each payment will have a mix of your principal plus interest. The earlier payments you'll have will mostly consist of interest and little principal. So how do you get around that? Make your minimum required payment for your loan that month, which will include the principal plus interest. Then you can apply another payment to the loan and state that you want it to be applied to your principal balance of the loan only. This is important because if you don't state this, then the loan provider may apply the payment to the principal and interest because that's how they make their money. Making these extra payments towards the principal balance will lower the overall balance, which will also lower the interest that you will pay over time on the loan. We'll go over more into detail about consumer debt in a future video, but for now, we'll leave it at this. Once you pay down all of your debt, then you can move on to phase 3, which is invest the rest. When you think about investing money, what do you think of? Do you think of fancy suits and expensive cars driven by millionaires who work on Wall Street? Or do you think about sitting behind a bunch of monitors filled with tons of numbers, charts, and a bunch of red and green squiggly lines? Investing money is hardly that. Investing in its simplest terms means that you put your money into something for a return on your investment in exchange for taking on risk. Essentially, you're putting your money to work to make you more money. Now that you've increased your income, reduced your expenses, and eliminated your debt, this next step will help you build your wealth. Now, I will say this, that there are tons of strategies that you can use to invest your money, and though I do have my preferred ways to invest that I feel is more advantageous than others, there's ultimately no best way. It all depends on your goals and risk tolerance. So let's take a high-level approach to some of the common investing strategies and instruments out there. Keep in mind that we won't dive too deep into each of these strategies in this video, but this will serve as an introduction with some great options, so we'll keep it simple. Stock market. There are many different ways that you can participate in the stock market, and here are some common ones. One way is by purchasing stocks, which are shares of ownership that you have in a publicly traded company like Apple or Coca-Cola. By owning a share of a stock, you can own a small percentage of that company. If the price of the stock goes up from the price at the time of purchase, then you made a profit through the stock appreciating. The reverse is also true in that if the stock price goes down, so does the value of your stock. The value of the company's stock may fluctuate depending on a variety of factors, including how well the company is doing, bad news about the market inflation, or how the overall stock market is doing. This is called volatility. The overall trend of the stock market has historically increased in value, but that doesn't mean that individual companies always do well. So you'll need to determine your risk tolerance when it comes to handling the market fluctuations, because it can be scary to see your stocks be up one day and then plummet down 10% or even more the next day. We'll talk more about stocks in future videos, but hopefully now you have a general idea of how it works. Mutual funds. If you want to choose more of a hands-off approach to investing and diversify your portfolio, you can consider investing in a mutual fund. A mutual fund is a pool or portfolio of stocks that allows you to spread out your investment dollars to many different stocks, bonds, or securities. Instead of investing in one stock, you can invest your money in hundreds of stocks with one fund. Most mutual funds are actively managed, which means that there is a fund manager who is choosing which stocks will go into the fund with the aim of providing a nice return to all of their investors. Having a fund manager comes at a cost of paying a management fee, or also known as an expense ratio. Index funds. If you don't want to pay a management fee but still want to be able to diversify your portfolio while getting historically favorable returns on investment, then you can look into a certain type of mutual fund known as the index fund. Similar to actively managed mutual funds, index funds consist of many different stocks, but they differ in that they are not actively managed and the investment objective differs. Index funds consist of stocks that are designed to match or track companies of a financial market index, such as the Standard & Poor's 500 index. Index or S&P 500. An index fund provides broad market exposure, low operating expenses, and low portfolio turnover. These funds follow their benchmark index regardless of the state of the markets. The benefit to investing in index funds are fees are much lower because it's not actively managed, and you get all of the benefits of diversification of stocks in one portfolio without having to actively manage your own stock portfolio. Exchange traded funds or ETFs. These are similar to index funds in that they provide a collection of securities that typically tracks an index, sector, commodity, or other assets. The key difference is that they can be bought and sold throughout the day, just like stocks. Now, there are other ways to invest, and I'm going to briefly mention a few of the common options so that you can be aware of what's out there and take advantage of these. I'll keep them short for this video, but I'll be sure to make separate videos on these options, so stay tuned. 401k. The 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement account that if you're lucky enough to have part of your benefit package, you should take advantage of. Every 401k is different in terms of which types of investments they offer, but generally you'll be able to choose if you want to stick to more conservative investments or be more aggressive, which is riskier, but usually yields higher returns. The contribution amount of your choosing is automatically deducted from your paycheck and placed into that account. If you're lucky, some employers even match their employer's contributions 50% or even 100%. That means you could potentially literally make 100% return on your money if they do a 1-for-1 match. The maximum amount that you could contribute to your 401k annually at the time of this recording is $19,500 or $26,000 if you're 50 or older. The contributions are made before taxes are taken out, which means you get the benefit of investing tax-deferred upfront. So because you are investing pre-tax dollars into the 401k and it grows over time, you will have to pay ordinary income tax at the time when you start withdrawing your money from the account, which you can do starting from the age of 59 and a half. Traditional IRA and Roth IRA. An IRA simply means individual retirement account, and it's designed as an investment retirement vehicle similar to the 401k. Unlike the 401k, however, you don't need an employer to sponsor the plan, but you can only invest earned income, which is the income that you make from your employer, like wages or salary, or from your business. You can simply open one up independently through a broker. There is a limit to the amount that you can contribute each year, which is based on your age, income, and whether you are single or married filing jointly. As of the time of this recording, the annual contribution limits are $6,000 if you make $124,000 or less, or $7,000 if you're 50 or older. Your contribution limit is reduced if you make between $124,000 and $139,000. And if you make more than $139,000, then you're kind of out of luck. Now, there are other strategies that we won't get into this video if you make more than that, but we'll save that for later. Now, there are two main types of IRAs that you can choose from, traditional or Roth. They both function the same as they both offer the same ability to invest in securities and have the same annual contribution limits. However, they differ in how they are treated when it comes to taxes. With a traditional IRA, your contributions are made with pre-tax dollars and are tax deductible every year. When you start taking withdrawals as early as the age of 59 and a half, you're gonna have to pay taxes on your withdrawals at ordinary income tax rates at the time of withdrawal. With a Roth IRA, your contributions are made with after-tax dollars, which means you don't get any immediate tax benefit because your contributions are not tax deductible, but you get to enjoy tax-free capital gains and tax-free withdrawals as early as the age of 59 and a half. So when it comes to choosing between the tax-deferred traditional IRA versus the Roth IRA, it really comes down to your tax treatment preference and also where you think your tax situation will be at the time of retirement. Now, there are plenty of other great investment options out there like HSA accounts, real estate investing, and even cryptocurrency. And we won't go over that in this video, but you can certainly get a head start to research these if you like. And that's the ultimate beginner's guide to personal finance made simple. The truth is, personal finance does not have to be complicated. Use these 3 phases as your guide and you're gonna be on your way to financial freedom. I do wanna mention that this video isn't investment advice, but rather educational and serves as a springboard into your own research. Every situation is different, and so it's important to keep this in mind as you're navigating the world of personal finances. Let me know in the comments below about which phase you're on in your financial journey. Also, feel free to let me know if you'd like to learn more about any of these topics that I covered in this video, and I'll consider making a separate video on those topics. With that said, if you found value in this video, then hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, I do encourage you to share this video with anyone that you know that can use a little help in leveling up their personal finances. I upload new videos every week on personal finance, so be sure to tune in. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.